Welcome to my review of Little Nightmares by Tarsier Studios. Now Tarsier Studios worked quite closely with Media Molecule on Little Big Planet and also Tearaway. So they have a lot of expertise at the studio and they can produce high quality visual assets. They do fantastic modelling and texturing work, and this really shines through in Little Nightmares. It really is a gorgeous game. It's made with the Unreal Engine and they really utilise the engine well, and from start to finish you feel like you're playing a AAA title. It may not be AAA in length, it's only a short game, but you can't fault the production values. The concept work is incredibly imaginative. The creatures and the monsters, the environments, the whole thing is absolutely top notch, really well thought out. The levels are really well thought out as well. There's some nice sort of puzzle elements to the game, but the puzzles aren't too complicated. Most people will be able to figure them out without resorting to going to YouTube, although there was a couple of moments in the game where I was scratching my head thinking, where do I go next, what do I do next? There was one point in the game I was trapped in a room and there was a mirror on the wall, and I just happened to pick up a tin can and throw it at the mirror, and it smashed and it allowed me to get through to the next area. By luck really, rather than anything else. There was another room I was in and I wasn't sure what to do, and it turns out that I can actually clamber up one of the walls, and I didn't initially realise I could do that. But those are minor points really. On the whole, the design work is just excellent throughout. Now this game isn't so much about puzzles, it's more about escaping these creatures that are trying to get you. You're on this sort of cruise ship that is floating along. It's really kind of macabre, it's really creepy. It's definitely not the sort of environment a lot of people want to spend a lot of time in. I did a couple of areas of the game at a time, and then I kept leaving it and coming back to it because it was just too creepy. Not just the visuals, but also the sound effects. They blend the sound effects with the music. It's just superb actually, just perfect for the game. You hear these sort of noises in the background like pumps that might be going in the ship, or the engines, and it's just really incredibly atmospheric. But these sort of environmental noises are kind of like almost tuneful in a way, and there are actual tunes that play. You never really felt like you was listening to music as such. It just all blends in with the visuals perfectly. I actually got a soundtrack disc with the game. Now as I said, this isn't a big game, but it only cost me about £16 when I pre-ordered it from Amazon, and I feel that's a great price for the game. I actually wish there was more high quality games like this at affordable prices. Not every game needs to be huge to be worth playing. Sometimes a smaller, more concentrated experience like this is actually something that will stick in your mind a lot longer than other bigger bloated games. Now Little Nightmares actually has more in common with games like Limbo and Inside than Little Big Planet. It's certainly a more mature game than Little Big Planet. It's actually a 16+ game. Now the macabre nature of it might actually put off quite a lot of people. It is really, really creepy. The soundtrack itself is designed to unsettle you, to grate on you. There's even some white noise that is used quite a lot in the sound effects, and there's one section where I actually had to change the headphones I was using because I was using some DT990 Biodynamics headphones, and they're quite bright headphones, and because of all this white noise it was just too much for me. I had to change it to different headphones that weren't quite so bright. But again, it's not really a complaint as such. It's designed to be edgy, it's designed to make you feel unnerved. The whole idea of this game is to get your heart going. When these creatures are trying to get you and you're trying to escape them, it is kind of like a survival horror game, stroke puzzle game, if you want to pigeonhole it as that. You really are running away from these horrible, hideous creatures, and a lot of the puzzles involve figuring out where to go next and trying to evade capture, slipping through little gaps so they can't get you, picking your moment to actually make your move so you don't alert them. So a lot of the puzzles involve just figuring out where the monsters are, their little routes they take, and just avoiding them. But the environment itself is actually the playground that you're in. Certain things you can climb on, you can dangle from, you can swing from, and there's some really nice ideas in the game. There's a sausage making sort of machine on the table, and you have to get meat into the machine to make the sausages, and that allows you to swing to another area. So minor spoiler there, sorry for that, but I just wanted to sort of give you an idea of how imaginative they are when they come up with the environments that you have to escape through. And the different parts of this sort of massive cruise ship that you're on are really distinct. I never felt like they was reusing the same assets over and over again. That was constantly visually surprising me, and that's really what got me interested in the game in the first place, was the quality of the visuals. I actually first saw the game at EGX in Birmingham. That's a really good computer show. Definitely get down there if you can. It's every September, I think. And I was there with my mate KJC, and we both played the demo of Little Nightmares, and he wasn't too bothered about it. It wasn't his cup of tea, but for me, I love visually striking games with great design, and I do like my puzzle games. I really enjoyed Limbo, especially the first half of Limbo I really enjoyed. The second half, it went off the boil a bit for me. Also Inside as well. I think actually this game has more in common with Inside. It's kind of a fixed 3D perspective, so you are sort of moving left and right, and you can move in and out of the screen. You can move within the 3D space, and that's probably my only small little, not complaint, but observation really, that's more on the negative side, and that is that it can be a bit tricky to navigate in that fixed perspective. Like when you're trying to judge distances, when you're trying to jump from one part of the scenery to the other, sometimes it took a few attempts to figure out exactly where things were spatially and to know exactly in what sort of angle I had to jump at. When I was at the EGX game show, they had a really novel way of promoting the game. They had a woman in a yellow rain mac, and she was running around the show avoiding these grotesque characters from the game, these cooks that were in the game. They were people dressed up in suits. It certainly got me interested in what's going on here, and I went off to sort of find out and ended up playing the demo. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the end of the game. There will be some minor spoilers, so I won't give too much away, but if you want to be completely spoiler free, then probably best to stop watching the review here. Okay, so if you're still here, I will carry on. Now as you're playing the game, you initially start off and you kind of feel like you're this little child in a yellow rain mac, captured in here somehow. You're trying to escape from this ship that's rocking in the sea. As you get through the game, things happen that are quite, as I say, macabre, but quite shocking. You get hungry and things kind of happen that you don't expect to happen, and you kind of think, wait a minute, what am I? Am I the real monster of this thing? And the ending of the game is really good as well. There's this kind of geisha type, statuesque female figure that seems to be in charge of this kind of grotesque cruise ship, and you actually battle with her at the end. So it's got a nice sort of distinct ending to the game. If you liked Limbo or Inside, then you'll definitely like Little Nightmares. I certainly thoroughly enjoyed my experience with it, and when it got to the end I actually wanted more, and that's always a great sign. If a game leaves you wanting more, then you've obviously had a good time with it. Now there is DLC for the game. I did download the DLC and I definitely will check that out. Hopefully the quality of the DLC matches up to the main game. Okay, so thanks for watching my review. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review and it's been informative. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.